I'm with Mr. Kingshuk Das. Hello, sir. Welcome to BML Munjal University. So, sir, like you have been involved with design thinking for a very long time. Do you think design thinking unlocks more creative solutions for startups rather than the large companies because of the innovation through disruption that goes in?
What I would say is actually that they're two very different problems and they have two very different applications of it. Because for a startup, the problem is usually product market fit. Right? Their problem is not culture, or the problem is not being too melded to their history, etc. Right? A big corporation has those problems. Big corporation has too much bureaucracy, too many silos, too set in their ways and their core business, so they're very afraid to break out of it because it cannibalizes their core business. The startup doesn't have that problem, right? So, but a startup does have the problem of product market fit, where they have an idea and everyone is gunning towards that idea, but they don't know if it'll resonate with customers or not, right? And if it doesn't, it's not always clear how to pivot to a new idea. And I think design thinking can help a lot with that, because when you get close to your customers, you get feedback that is very rich and that you would not get just looking at a report or data. And when you're co-creating solutions with your customers, you get insights that you would not get otherwise. So your customers will in many ways tell you what you need to do better than you can think for them in many respects. So I would say it's not one or the other, or one is not more than the other. It's equal but different, in the sense that corporations, design thinking might solve very different problems in corporations than in startups.
Most of the startups which are there are focusing on the innovation and differentiation part. So do you think using the design thinking as a virtue will increase the efficiency while cutting down on the cost overall?
I think there are at least two ways of looking at it. Right? On one hand, it is absolutely not just possible, but common that a lot of innovations do end up cutting cost, and some are specifically about cutting costs, right? So both on the corporate side and on the startup side, I've been involved with a lot of work which, especially if it's process-driven innovation, like for the P&Gs and Walmarts of the world, then there's an explicit goal around cutting costs and being more human-centered and customer-friendly at the same time. Right? So a back-end efficiency might actually be better for the consumer, right? Because maybe you've disintermediated the market or the value chain, so that a customer has to pay less because you are able to transfer the your cost savings onto the customer, right? So that's a win-win in both situations. If you're only thinking about cost, then it might actually come back to bite you, because even though there is a space for that in the market, I think innovations that are too overtly focused on cost, like a flippant example might be the Tata Nano, for example, which was so focused on cost, and they hit their cost targets, but at the same time, it didn't quite resonate with customers because they might have compromised too much on other dimensions, right? So I would only advise against optimizing cost at the cost of other dimensions that are important to the market, to human beings, to the customers. But it should definitely be one of the factors that you have to balance when you are thinking innovation or design thinking.
Thank you so much, sir.
Of course.
I'm sure your words will help a lot of entrepreneurs and young minds out there.
For what it's worth, I'm happy to help more.